So it's important, guys, that we talk about Abel as we continue the story of Abel and realize what he actually did. Because what he actually did was take his shot. He's the one that took one for the team. Abel was the one that decided to be the first man to ever die. So think about who Abel is. Like, really think about the symbolism of Abel and realize what better way to introduce everyone to heaven than for Cain to meet with Abel and say, and for Cain to be the one that resurrects Abel, and for Cain to be the one that says, you know what, I changed my mind, I'm not going to kill him, I'm going to give him a symbolic kill, which is to crown him as the king. For Cain to crown his own brother as the king, knowing that the golden rule will come back to him, and that Abel will then crown Cain as the king. And they both get to be their own king. Because in heaven, that's more established, and there's a kingdom, right? The land has been civilized. So before all that happened, you have Adam, you have Cain, you have Abel, you have Eve, right? You have Adam and Eve, you have Cain and Abel. And think about without Eve, because Eve is at home. So you gotta remember, Eve is at home, she's taking care of the house. Okay, Eve is not there. The brothers, which are Adam, Cain, and Abel, they went out. Now what happens is, the story goes that Cain killed Abel. But remember, this is just a metaphor, because there's another way to tell the story. And the context is present day life. How do we want our children to remember this story? So we've got to change the story. Okay, and this is something that Kevin Trudeau talks about, who, as we know, Kevin, which we don't want to say his real names, but he's already pretty famous. But Kevin Trudeau, he talks about this concept, and it's not him. It's all societies. We talk about the topic of retelling the story. You've got to tell the story that you want to be remembered, and this is what history is. History is made of. So, with this being said, Abel, actually, it was his choice. So you got to realize, Cain killed Abel from one point of view, but also it was Abel's choice. Abel chose to take one for the team. He chose to be the first one to die because he knew that's what he'd be remembered for. He said, you know what, I'll be the first one to die. If someone's going to die, it's going to be me. And that's how you know he's a team player. That's how you know, because he said, I'll be the first one to die. I'll take a bullet for my team, for my brothers. That's what Abel did. So you got to understand who Abel is. And if you look at Abel, you look at people like Abraham Lincoln, okay, or a JFK type of situation. They knew what they were getting themselves into. They knew that it could happen, and because they knew this what happened to Abel. And so when someone's jealous or whatever, but you got to think on a symbolic level. Abel, okay, Abel chose this path, but now it's not forever. It's only for a 2,000-year period, which Jesus came 2,000 years ago. It was told that was a time of darkness on the planet. Now it's being evoked into the truth, which is the light, which now comes to, as we know, the period of eternal life in heaven on earth, which is supposed to be 2,000 years. Something around that time. So 2,000 years, as we know, would be 144-year cycles. Roughly. It's not the exact number, 2,000 years. You'd have to do the exact math on that. It's around 2,000 to 3,000 years. It's somewhere in that range. We're going to have to get the exact number, the calculator out. So, 12-year cycles is 144 years. Okay? So, that's what we wanted to share with you guys today, is the story of Abel, the real truth of Abel, and Abraham Lincoln, and people like Abraham Lincoln. Abel is Abraham Lincoln. Not that Abel is Abraham Lincoln, but that Abel and Abraham Lincoln play a symbolic role. That Abraham Lincoln symbolically represents Abel in a way, in how it worked. Now, and this is Abel, guys, the brother. It's about a 5-minute drive. The brother, ladies and gentlemen, that took the first death. Took one for the team, ladies and gentlemen.